I actually didn't feel like I was allowed to ever invest anything into myself or what I wanted. It was only ever about the church, but especially what God wanted for my life, because if I considered my desires over what He might possibly want, then that was sin. A woman might be allowed to work outside the home and such, but the mantra that you're constantly getting is that you should, if you really want God's best for your life, because if you're a good person, you should always want to just stay at home and have children, homeschool the children, that's about it. I was always a very obedient Christian. I did everything. As long as I thought God wanted it, I did it. No matter what it was, no matter how much it hurt me. To understand, you have to realize I wanted to pursue science or medical science even when I was younger, but biology and evolution being mixed, I felt like it was wrong to pursue that. So instead I felt like I had to do something with my life that would please God. So I went to a Bible college to become a missionary. Women were not allowed to preach, so we still had to take sermon classes, but we somehow had to figure out how to do it without preaching, because if you preach to men, it's sin. Things started pushing up to the surface in terms of how it just didn't feel right anymore. I love people. I love people. I'm a natural humanist. That's who I am. And all the evangelizing I had to do and stuff, it always just made me so uncomfortable. I never felt like I had a right to try to change everybody, but I felt like I had to. It was an imperative. I had to do it. And I just couldn't keep that mindset anymore. It started breaking down on its own. I think probably from the point that I really did lose my faith to the point where I acknowledged it to myself, it was about 3 years. And a big part of that was just the cost of my life and what I had invested into the church. And if it wasn't real, I would lose everything I had sacrificed, because I sacrificed pursuing science. I sacrificed having a career, everything, because I thought it was right. I also had absolutely no relationships with people outside of the church, outside of the fundamental church. So it, potentially was a loss of everything. Recovering from religion for me really helped to make me not feel quite as alone after I lost my faith. Because for a lot of people, if they lose their faith, they lose their community of support almost completely. So being able to finally get myself out there and meet other people that I knew wouldn't judge me for not being a believer and could understand how I felt about what I had gone through and understand why I couldn't keep my faith, that was extremely important for me. I have been able to and felt free to discover who I really am, what I really value and is important to me without anybody else telling me what that is. And that has been a really wonderful thing, to do that, to be able to meet people and learn about them and learn their stories and not have to judge them or feel like I have to try to change them. So having that and not always being saddled by guilt about everything has ended up, after a painful road, has ended up being a really wonderful thing for me.